What's up, YouTubers? One of my viewers was asking how I flick open my Small Sebenza with relative ease. This is one that you're not theoretically supposed to. Yeah, it's got a ceramic detent ball interface there, but that ceramic's not going to break. It's very hard. It's not taking a massive amount of actual impact. It's basically sliding across the tang of a blade. So I don't worry about it. My particular frame started out at 60%. It's been at 60. It's still 60%, so it hasn't moved. And I don't know if it's not supported or not. So in short, what I'm going to try to do is demonstrate the key items that you have to keep in mind when you're going to flick open a Sebenza. This refers to the smaller one. My large one I have not broken in. I'll be talking about them kind of one by one. Everybody knows that the big weakness in the Sebenza and the Inkosi, basically every Chris Reeve knife, I haven't actually held an Umnumzan, so I don't know about the Umnumzan, but pretty much the biggest Achilles heel is this awful. It might possibly be the worst thumb stud made to humankind, at least the folding knife humankind. It's just very uncomfortable. First things you have to do is really you got to build up calluses and just getting used to getting that. There's no really particular comfortable position. Trying to get your fingernail under there will not help flick it necessarily. That actually hurt more. Trying to get into that angle and get a fingernail under there. Just building up for me, a little bit of a, I don't know, it's not necessarily callus, but just getting used to, for all I know, it's probably neuropathy. So yeah, there's no real secret about where to go in there. The key is going to be about just getting enough purchase and going at that right angle. With learning how to fail with it. Most knives that have a thumb stud give you somewhat of a channel to follow in terms of your deployment. In the case of this one, that is not the case. If you look at the channel on a Sebenza, whether it's small or large, and here's an Inkosi, which is a little bit easier to flick, it's not necessarily the case. The Inkosi is a little bit better. You'll notice that the channel right there is pointing up a little bit more. But on your Sebenza, it is not. It's basically essentially a perfect semicircle there, not quite semicircle, but nearly semicircle. And you will fail it 100% of the time if you follow the channel that they provide for you. And even if you start to angle it up a little bit, it's going to fail. So the key for me, of course, is to build up the calluses on your thumb, but was to go essentially in the vertical direction and really give it a lot of oomph. So you definitely have to just work your thumb up to it, but go in that vertical direction, and I found that actually goes really well. With an Inkosi, as an example here, this is not very well broken in. That's a fairly well broken in Sebenza. This is not a broken in one, but number one, there's a little bit more space. Two, it does have a larger phosphor bronze washer, presumably, less friction, so it's going to fling open faster, and so it'll apply. The Sebenza, I can tell you, just being a little bit rougher or tighter out of the gate, it's going to take a little bit longer, so you're going to have to break this thing in. But with enough time, I can just about guarantee, and I do have a larger Sebenza. Oops, see, I do fail it. You'll fail it from time to time, but you can also obviously give it a little bit of wrist, Just the slightest bit of wrist will definitely help seal that deal. One last thing to watch out for is don't be too far back. If you take a look at the thumb angle here, it's going to basically, the thumb is going to end right there, about an inch away. Creep up on the knife, building up a bigger spring in your thumb. And if you take a look at that, then my thumb is a good 1.5 inches away from that pivot point where the thumb stud was. So, like I said, for those who are wondering how, what, not why, I'm not going to answer why. I do it why because it's comfortable for me, and it's not bad. And the how, hopefully this helps. Appreciate your time. Take care.